So the portions of Nitzavim Vayelekh, they're very prophetic in nature, very tense portions. Lots to be said. I want to focus on one thing. It's a famous thing, where the Torah tells us, or God tells us, that I will conceal myself from you. And Rabbi Ephraim, the grandson of the Baal Shem Tov in Degel Machane Ephraim, he says, well, this is very perplexing. How is this even possible that God could conceal himself from Israel? Surely this means that in such a state, then Israel loses their power, their vitality. How could this really be? And he says, rather, the way to understand this is like a king who, uses magic to create a buffer or sort of screens between him and his child. So how does he do this? He creates a so-called river or a moat and pillars of fire and so on and so forth. And he says there are two types of people. The one that understands that the reason the king has put these supposed trickery or illusions as a buffer between the child and the king, his father, is in order to understand that by getting through them and having faith, you get stronger. Whereas, the more stupid one will either say, well, there's no God to be found here, or, try once and then just abort and say, this isn't for me. And he says, in truth, the idea of God concealing himself, even when we go down low and horrific things happen, it is in fact God being as close to us as he is at supreme times of joy. The only difference is the act of concealment is there for our good, for us to understand something. And he says this is much like Rosh Hashanah, which is a time of concealment, right? I think he's alluding to the, he's alluding to the moon, as opposed to in Sukkot, where we have the peak, where we have the full moon, and all of a sudden this light is revealed. And of course this is very paradoxical for us this year, because last year one could argue that all of a sudden the tables were turned. The great light on Sukkot, on Simchat Torah, where everything is revealed, the revealed became concealed. And then what does that mean? What can we do with what the grandson of the Baal Shem Tov is teaching us when even the revealed is concealed? So thoughts on the Torah portion of Vayelekh. Shabbat Shalom.